team, Lynette Newman and Sean Bolon. If you have reached out to me at all on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Alignable, you have spoken with, there she is, Lynette. Lynette is my social media maven, and she's the one that handles all that because I do not spend any time on social media at all. I do not enjoy that. So thank heavens people in this world allow me to pay them to do it. So thank you, Lynette. And then Sean is in the chat. So you probably have already seen that because he's always very active when I'm running through a slide deck so that people don't get bored until we can finish that up. So for those of you who were at Open Friday Coffee last week, how many of you did your master contact sheet?
I opened it, I downloaded it, put a few people.
You put a few people in there. Okay. All right. Partial credit. Look, you want to know how to build a business. And if you are suffering from cash flow issues, this is the way to roll. Now, I've only done 17 online businesses. Okay. I've only run 17, just recently sold my last one. So I just wanted to let you know, I know how to build a business. Okay. I know how to build it from scratch. So that's why we need to do that with the cash flow issues. Okay. And yes, I did. In the chat, people are talking about how I pulled the mom card. Yes, I do. If I am worried about somebody's safety, I will pull the mom card. Okay, so what we're going to do is have Janine and Shannon talk to us for a moment first, because in case you guys need to go or want to split, you don't want to hang around this crazy world that we are in Open Friday Coffee. Good morning, Janine. You even spell your name right. Oh my gosh, talk to us. What's happening in your world?
Hello, everybody. I'm so grateful I could make today. I have put it on my calendar every time, and something normally gets in the way. So I'm delighted to be here. What's happening in my world is my website went away, so I'm exploring Linktree, and I'm moving forward anyway. And that's what's happening in my world. For those who don't know me, I'm a personal leadership coach, and I'm learning that leadership starts with oneself. So well, I've known that for many years. I loved what you were sharing about the cards there. I just find I get to use WhatsApp and email because we have no postal system yet in South Africa. So thank you.
No problem. So when you don't have a postal system, and believe me, I've heard this from multiple people throughout the world, try delivering something to Peru. Yes, thank you, Mike. Or try delivering something in Mexico. And there's a few of the island nations where they don't even have addresses. Okay. They're like, send me the pin. If you want to meet them somewhere, send me the pin. Thank heavens for Google Maps right now. So if you're in that situation, you're not off the hook. I'm sorry. No, you're not off the hook. Get that contact sheet built out and make sure that you have an email address for everybody. And then you email them and you state when you're going to email them the next time. And if you have a Gmail account, you can hit that little timer button that pulls that email back up into your account so that it will pop into your inbox and it will remind you, and you can go to your master contact sheet and go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to send the second or third or fourth person again. Okay, Matt has parked because his hand is raised.
I just wanted to ask you about that. I'm going to have to discover where that button is. I didn't know there was a timer button. So I shall definitely go and explore that.
Yeah, there's a little gray box. It's right up there at the top with a lot of the other icons that are there. And it's just looks like a little clock. It's got a little, I think it's 2:00 or something it's at. And you just click on that and it will ask you, when do you want to see this email again? So you send it off to the person, go look at that message, and then that's how I forward it. And that's how you start off doing that without all the fancy CRMs and stuff. A lot of us can't afford those more for starting a business. You got to wait for cash flow to come in. So see, these are some of the free tools that are available where I was like, where were these when I was first starting, man? These are great, So send emails. And then the other thing is you send a series of about 3 or 4 emails. And by email 4, is when you're like, I will be calling you. What number should I call you? And then they're going to start digging through their emails to figure out, but usually these are people that know you, All right. They know you in some way. It's not like you're talking to people who, it's not cold calling. And the only reason you're wanting to get on a phone call with them is because you want to find out what's going on in their world to see if you can help them or if you can refer somebody to them. This is your community. This is your network. Okay. All right, Matt, you got your hand up. And so go ahead and unmute yourself. And we will be happy to hear what you have to say. Hi.
You also, hi there, stranger. You also turned off my webcam too.
Oh, I did? You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. I'm glad that I could serve you in that way. All right, so
I'll take credit for that action.
Thank you, Sean.
I started to get motion sickness because he had it in the wheel, so whenever he would turn, it would turn the phone. And
This is why...
I mean, I really was driving. Well, the thing is, I mean, I already been neutered when I was 7 days old. It's like, do we really need to be going through this again? So,
dude, you got double Boloned.
Exactly. Actually, you know, it's funny you mentioned Icon because Sting retired from wrestling this week. So, for those of you who
that wasn't me. I didn't touch it. No. Matt's on mute again. Okay, hang on. Let's see what's going on with you. Asked to mute. Dude, seriously, even Lynette wouldn't do that to you.
I am innocent here. So right now I'm sitting in the car about to get out and have some breakfast, but let me go and tell you guys what's going on for now. Okay. So some tech news and tech tips. Tesla, the factory in Berlin was hit with an arson attack. So apparently they've tried to shut down their gigafactory. Apparently they have no love for the EV, somebody that over there does. Apple has released new MacBooks this week and new iPhone updates that allow people in the European Union to get third-party apps, except for Epic Games and going on there. Also, to a nerdy note, anybody here play video games? Fallout is coming out to TV. I can't wait for the series to come out. The trailer looks awesome. I encourage you to go check that out. Another thing I'll mention, which is very, very important, I had an iMac go down this week. Hard drive crashed. I highly encourage all of you to have a worthwhile backup system. And you know, a backup that's 5 years old, you know, when collecting dust does not count. Whether it be a computer or a Windows Mac, your phones, Android, iPhone, anything that's valuable, you need to have a backup system. If you're not sure, let me know. I will sit there and help you with that, because that to me is critical to make sure that you don't lose your valuable documents, pictures, music, memories, what have you. And the last thing I will leave you with is the proverbial weekly Hebrew haha. So what did the duck say when she purchased new lipstick? Put it on my bill.
Oh, but
So it was great seeing everybody this week. I'm also available for weddings, birthdays, and bar mitzvahs. I was there for my own bar mitzvah, that is. And if anybody needs nerdy IT assistance, please let me know. My information in chat, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you so much for having me on, Janine, Tasha, and Sean. So and Lynette. So there we go. I hit everybody here.
I think you hit the team. Thank you so much, Matt. It's always lovely to have you on, even if I have to be a mom sometimes, because I worry about safety. Okay, I want you in one piece. All right,
I appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
All right, take care, guys.
Okay, and then Shannon, and I may be saying that wrong. Is it Shannon? Is that how I'm supposed to say? Shannon, yeah. My apologies, my dear. Have we met before?
No, so I am a Send Out Cards affiliate, so that's how I came across you. Yeah, and I've watched your stuff from afar, so a longtime listener, first time caller, and just been curious to see what your Friday coffee looked like. So I thought I'd jump on today. I'm usually running around, and my 9 to 5 is Western Governors University, so I'm the senior strategic partnerships manager for Central California. And it keeps me hopping. I was like at an Amazon event, and then I had to drive up to Shasta College, and then I'll be at like a state conference for K-12 education Sunday through Monday. So that's what's going on in my world. I travel a lot for work. Fortunately, I don't travel multi-state anymore, which I used to. I'm mostly just in California, but it keeps me busy. But I love send out cards, and I, use it personally, use it professionally, and just was really curious to see what your Friday coffees were like. So,
Mm.
tickled to be here.
Thanks so much. You must be one of those 168 people that watch the send out cards trainings on YouTube, but
Yeah.
weren't able to get on. So, do you have any questions regarding the systems or processes, or anything I can help you with your send out card business?
Not yet,
Okay,
but that's why I wanted to kind of hop on and see what your format was like, and I'm
sure.
sure I'll have some.
Okay, no problem. I did trainings for years, and so I can't remember if we have it in the all the links or not, but definitely send an email to Tasha. Here is Tasha at the. Go ahead and send an email to Tasha, and she will send you the link to the free training.
Oh,
So
awesome.
all of those things, normally I sell them for the training was sold for $497, but you came on to Open Friday Coffee, you made time. I like to honor people who make time for their business and themselves. And so go ahead and ask her for that link, and we'll put you into the training. And literally it was 2 solid years that every Saturday I was on from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Mountain Time. And I was training people on how to run their send out card business. And I know they have Promptings Academy now. I mean, they've
Mhm.
had 3 name changes since I've
Yeah,
been an affiliate
me too.
with them.
Same.
And so I just keep rolling with it because it is such a great system for what I use. And I
Yeah.
teach people how to only spend about 10% of their time selling to their people and spend 90% of the time just staying connected to their people through the send out card system. So anyway, if you ever have any questions, you let me know. And I always say to people, oh, and if you wouldn't mind, send me, if somebody's interested and they don't want to be on your team, definitely send them to my team, but otherwise build your own team, right? Build it
Awesome.
out and help people out. Feel free to bring any of your team members here to Open Friday Coffee. I'll answer any of their questions. Okay.
Thank you so much.
No
Appreciate you.
problem. Yep, no problem. Okay, and so now we have wonderful people in our life who show up almost every single Friday. And because of that, we've asked them to do 1-minute tips. And so today we're going to have Jeff, then Rich, then Mike, and then Shailene. And first of all, I've got to give a bit of an introduction to Jeff Bourgeois. He has helped me publish multiple books. In the process of publishing the Right series, and we built together the Hero workbook. And it was one of those funny things that Jeff and I work so fast and so furiously. It was a book that was on my hard drive that I'd forgotten, has been there quite some time, actually. And I was like, oh my gosh, Jeff, I forgot to publish this book. So if you want to learn how to publish your book in 12 hours or less, definitely look us up. Jeff and I have built out several systems for you regarding that. But today, Jeff, what's going on in your world, and what do you have to share?
Well, thank you, Janine. And I have a new visual. So I got off my soapbox, and I'm going to help people with the keyboard. And I think today I'm going to share a common rant. I think we've had this conversation before. And this ties to the send out cards. It ties to the messaging. But one of the things I'm going to say, just this comes from a place of love. If you're in small business and you're not getting the clients you need, look at the activities you're doing. And, Janine talks about income producing activities. I talk about cash producing activities. Think about, what do I need to do today? And that's what I love about the thriving solopreneur. Here's the things I need to do today to make my business more successful. And I promise you, it's not spending more time on social media. I promise you, it's not, polishing your logo. It's not changing things. And Janine, I have a speaker right now. We can't get her book written because she can't decide which audience she wants to write to. But I'm like, just bloody well pick one. So that's my advice to you, is pick one and love them as dearly as you can. And once you figure out how to serve them, then you can pick another audience. But honestly, pick another geography first. So that's a bit of a rant, but yeah, if I don't know what the hell it is you do, I promise your audience doesn't know either. And quite frankly, they probably don't know they're your audience. So
Thank you. And I love it when you guys go on rants because that's what we're passionate about. We want people to be successful. If you're a small business owner, I want you to be insanely successful. And that's what this Open Friday Coffee is all about, is helping you build your business to that level of success. Now, as an example, and Jeff is definitely used to this, author podcasting, be a standout guest while taking your book on a virtual tour. This was a struggle for me because this book, I could have made promotional podcasting and I could have sent it to entrepreneurs, but I already had the Thriving Solopreneur. So I chose it to be author podcasting rather than promotional podcasting. And that really narrowed down my focus. And that has sent my business in a whole different direction. And I've had a lot of success with it because I've niched down so far. Okay. And so that's why I recommend, if you have the opportunity to go to a wider audience or a smaller audience, I recommend that you go to a super high niche. I helped a client of mine who had this focus. She had How to Travel with Your Yorkie. That was the name of her book, How to Travel with Your Yorkie. And it was all the tips and tricks and she had pictures of the Yorkie and blah, 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 blah. She sold that book to every dog owner she ran into, but she niched to people with Yorkies, and she spoke specifically to that type of animal and that personality of animal and everything. Now we hear this all the time, but yet the fear kicks in, and then the fear is telling you, oh, but are you going to be able to make enough money if you niche down that far? And the answer is yes, because you don't know how you will expand. You don't know how that book will grow. Okay. So speaking of that, how that book will grow and that expansion, let's talk to our branding expert that we have that's coming to us from the island of Manhattan. Hello, Rich Beyer.
The island of Manhattan. Oh gosh, I just love Fridays. I love being here. First of all, Janine, thank you. And I love what you're wearing.
Oh, thanks.
And as a testament to Jeff Bourgeois, because I show this because this is my book and it would never have been possible without Jeff's help. And Jeff, I just wanted to give you a quick update on the Yiddish book.
Ooh.
So I've gotten now a base list of definitions for each word, and I've gone through and written the phonetics for each word. This has been kicking my butt, this book, by the way. And I'm loving it. So anyway, I'm a brand designer. What does that mean? You are awesome at what you do, and I am awesome at helping the world to see how you are the only one that does it your way. Okay. And so on this date in history, branding wise, on this date in history, the New York Stock Exchange was formed.
Oh,
in
bravo.
March 8th in 1817. And the formation of the stock exchange was really pivotal in branding New York City as a financial hub, a global financial hub. It was New York City was pretty newish at that point. So on this date, I'm going to bastardize her name, Raymonde de la Roche becomes the first woman to earn a pilot's license in 1910. Okay. This is very pivotal for establishing branding for women's capabilities and the rights in the early 20th century, an area which they were deeply struggling. And on this date in 1938, Old Spice was created. And one of the things I love about Old Spice was their tagline, the original. If your father hadn't worn it, you wouldn't exist. And
speaking of branding that would so not work today, right?
Oh man, speaking of which, if you want to see something that would never fly today, go watch Blazing Saddles again.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, now we pivot to the branding the branding blunders section of this program. In the 70s, remember Wang Computer?
Oh,
well, Wang Computer had a slogan called Wang Cares. A really dumb slogan if you ask me, but when you say that pretty quickly, Wang cares, wankers, wankers, it starts sounding like what the British call each other when they're not happy with each other. So that didn't really work out. In the 80s, Clairol introduced the mist stick. Unfortunately, mist is slang in German for manure. not the association you want to have with a beauty product. And in the 90s, McDonald's introduced the Arch Deluxe, hoping to really pull in the adult crowd. What they didn't realize after spending a shitload of money and all this was that these adults just wanted Big Macs and fries. They didn't want anything special. That's what they were going to McDonald's for in the first place. So that's what we got for you today, folks. Have yourself a great Friday. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it. Rich does a lot of the branding for me when it comes to my logos and when it comes to the right habit. The book Author Podcasting was a surprise. I did not expect it to have the success that it did. And I had to run to Rich and go, help me brand this, because I had no idea. And so that's where the ink pen with the headphones comes from, is Rich Beyer. So thank you very much for helping me with that. Okay, next up we have somebody who I absolutely can't wait until he gets into Denver, because he's currently in Peru, and that is Mike McQuillan. So talk to us a little bit about that 1-minute speaking tip that I know you have.
Thanks so much for pronouncing my name correctly, Janine. It doesn't happen a whole lot here in Peru. My wife can't even say it the right way.
She has Mike down though. Mike.
Occasionally. We were back in the States, we were driving past the store Michael's, and she couldn't pronounce it. I said, "Oh, it's my name." So, yeah. The things she knows how to say in English, I don't know where she gets it. I don't know. Speaking tips. Speaking of speaking. Right. Don't call your wife a dork on stage if she's in the next room. Okay. This happened twice in 1 week, where somebody reminded me of something that I had said about speaking. One time I said public speaking is scary until it isn't. And another time I said, I didn't remember having said that. I believe that, but I didn't remember having said that. So I instantly made a meme out of it so I wouldn't forget it. If I write it down in one of my many notebooks I have at my reach right now, I may or may not find it. But if you whittle something down to an awesome foundational phrase, a 1 sentence, 10 words or less, kaboom, do something visual, something graphic with it so you don't forget it. The other one, a little bit longer, was every time you leave the house, if you say anything to anybody, congratulations, you are now a public speaker. So many people think of public speaking as either TED Talks or commencement address or shareholder meetings or product rollouts. I have a list of my favorite speeches ever given, and not one of them is a TED stage or one is a commencement address. But the formal setting that we associate with public speaking, that's not public speaking, especially in this day and age with what we're doing here. This is recorded, it'll go places, people will see it. This is public speaking. So that's the idea of what speaking is. It's time to change that perception that the best speakers are corporate leaders and CEOs. It's a big myth as to what we do. So any idea you have, put it into something graphic, you don't forget it. And remember, you just by putting forth an effort into your speaking, you are in the top 10% of anybody who's ever set foot on stage.
Thank you so much, Mike. You always come up with a tip, and I'm always like, cool. I have to put that in my back pocket to remember that. And now back to the great white north. We have a couple of Canadians, Jeff, and now we have Shailene with us. Thank you so much, Shailene, for joining us in its tax season. I know you're slammed. Thanks for joining us on I know what is a busy Friday for you.
It is. I'd like to say, first of all, happy International Women's Day to everyone.
Yes. Yeah, the Girl Scouts we're all doing our thing this day.
Yeah. Big fan. So again, it is tax season. So I like to, when I do workshops, I do online workshops or in-person workshops. The first question I'll ask is, who here wants to pay taxes? And I'll get a hand raise. Who here wants to pay taxes out of here? And the answer is we all do. We want to make so much money that we have to pay taxes. I have no problem paying for the police officers and the teachers and the nurses and the doctors and the roadworks crew. Because I want to make so much money that yes, I do have to pay taxes. But the key is making sure that you don't pay more than 1 cent. Nice, thank you. 1 cent more than you actually have to. So know your expenses. If you know, we're all self-employed. You can, there's so many things that you can write off as business expense. Make sure that you speak to your accounting professional and get that list. We have lots of lists of exactly what you can write off self-employed. So yes, we all want to pay taxes. We all want to make tons of money, but we want to not pay 1 cent more than we have to. That's my tip.
Thank you so much, Shailene. I love it because a lot of the tax tips, they cross the border, believe it or not.
Oh,
The
yeah.
things that Shailene makes sure that it is helpful. Go ahead, talk to us, my dear friend Jeff.
Sorry, I'll rant about accountants for a minute. I can't stress this enough. I want you all to have a valuable question. And your question, the most important one when it comes to accounting, is my accountant costing me money or helping me save money? And if your accountant is not giving you proactive advice, not telling you about things you should deduct, go find a new one, because if they're just taking the numbers as you give them, they're putting a whole lot of faith in you that you know the tax code as well as they do. So if your accountant's not asking you things and not answering questions for you, find a new one. And Janine, this is in honor of you. You inspired this. Use AI. ChatGPT is wonderful. Just say, I'm interviewing a new accountant. You are going to help me select one. What are the questions I must ask? And here's the other one. What are the questions they should be asking me so that I know they're proactive, not reactive? So sorry, I have to rant about accountants, because accountants should be saving you money, helping you earn money, not costing you money.
Thank you very much. That is something that I talk about a lot in my small business courses, is the fact that these are professionals that should be assisting you. So one time I had a financial planner that saved me $20,000 that could have gone out the door, but they saved me that $20,000. So I spent $2,000 on a gift for them. And they were like, oh, I've never had this happen before. And I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. I mean, it was a big bouquet of flowers. It was the tower of chocolates plus tickets to a professional team that I knew they loved. I did all of that because they saved me $20,000. Okay. And they had never had anybody respond that way in kind. Well, let me tell you something. Every time there was another way to save me money, she was on the phone with me. She didn't email me. She was on the phone. I want to make sure you know about this, blah, blah, blah. And I always went, and what is your favorite chocolate? Because she liked hand dipped truffles. And she goes, Janine, I don't work for chocolate, but yes. And then she would give me her list. So that's why I always giggle, because Jeff says, Janine, I work for brownies. I work for your brownies because I send out cards. So there you go. Okay, so Rich always gives us a beautiful background. So talk to us, Rich. What is that behind you? I know it's a Vespa-esque something, but what is that?
It was an advertising thing out front of a restaurant.
Oh,
The restaurant started with a C. I don't remember what the restaurant was because I didn't pay any attention to that.
you were too busy taking pictures of the Vespa.
I mean, you know, what are you going to do? So for those of you who don't know, I live in Manhattan, and I carry my big ass camera around with me. That's in my regular bag. I'm a street photographer, so my background changes weekly depending on what I've recently shot. And if you're not taking it in, if you're living in Manhattan, you're not just taking it all in, why bother?
Thank you. And that's one of the things I talk about, since we were discussing send out cards and accountants and stuff like that. One of the things that I started doing was running around with my phone and just taking pictures of my area. People with send out cards absolutely loved it, because what I see on a day-to-day basis, they do not see on a day-to-day. Share that part of your world with people if you're comfortable doing that. But you know, my walks around the lake or how the mountains would change on a day-to-day basis, they're always changing. No matter how many times I look at them, they always look different. So yes, Sean, what can we do for you?
There we go. Question for Jeff Bourgeois in the chat from I'm going to say it, Miss Jones. There we go.
But it's the same as your first name.
Yeah, I was about ready to.
Sean, That was like Sean's on spring break. He just entered spring break, just took a physics exam. His brain just went. It was gone.
I'll vouch. He took his physics exam yesterday.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
His brain is melted.
Janine, you did so well, and this is the best that came out. I mean,
That's
you
the
know.
best that happens. Oh, go ahead. You know, if we don't tease our children, how else do they know we love them, right? So go ahead, Jeff. Please answer the question.
Awesome. I'll put it in the chat, Shannon, but nice to meet you. And yeah, I'll put my details in the chat and I'll let you know how we can collaborate. Does that work?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks so much.
No problem. All right.
Physics,
And
huh?
physics, it was physics, and then he went to
Oh.
work. He works also, so he went to work. He didn't get home until 11:30 midnight, and then he was up until 2:30 trying to downshift, and then up bright and sunny this morning at 9 to help mom with open Friday coffee.
Well, God love you. I wouldn't have attempted physics, so.
It's actually been really fun, but yeah, it definitely rewires the brain on certain ways. My goodness. Ugh.
Okie dokie. So as we get ready to wrap up the hour today, are there any questions for people, or is there something that you wanted to share that you were unable to share earlier, something like that before we wrap up today's event? Go ahead, Mike.
All right, I just wanted to point out, when I got started in this journey, but this journey, I want to change it. Oh, why not? When I got started in this, I really didn't know what to ask. It was like, who do you know? Who do you know? Not knowing how to present. I got involved with a business coach who's just a pure hunter, go for everybody and I'm supposed to be in the chat, just getting meetings with people, giving my pitch, and you either pay or go away. And that was it. It was not about, he always said, don't follow up with anybody. Don't get in touch with anybody. You're just wasting your time. And really, of course, he's been thrown out of every networking group on the internet, including this one. And Janine doesn't even know him. I just told a quick little anecdote. She said, he's never coming to this meeting. I was really brought into this space, and the coach was very good in helping me with systems and helping me build up my value. In some way, he added a lot, but also he took a lot away. And it's only recently that I'm learning the importance of just doing for others first and let it coming back, and farming instead of hunting. So he always says you eat what you hunt. I know an old saying, it's been a while, but you reap what you sow, I think is how they say it. And really learning that whenever I meet somebody, the first thing I'm going to do, who can I connect you to? What can I do for you? And it's not immediate instant gratification, but we're not in this for instant gratification. If I'm selling brownies, if it's a bake sale, it's instant gratification. I'm not going to massage the relationship. I'm not going to refer you. I'm going to sell you my cookies and brownies. But, I'm, as a certified world-class speaking coach, let me put my business background back up there.
Thank you very much for the International Women's Day. We appreciate that. But yes, you are a speaking coach, and he is world-class, just to let you know.
Well, thank you. Certified world-class. This did not come out of a certified, I promise you, or a bake sale. So I just want to say this group is probably the leader in really reinforcing the importance of, my coach would just absolutely hang me from a tree for the fact that it's the same people every week, almost. Okay, well, Janine and Sean, great to see you here. Did I say that right? It's great to have new people, but we see a lot of the same people, and there are business coaches say, no, only go where there's new people, and they're known as networking nomads. And so that strategy is out there, and let those people come and go. So that's really my new thing for this year. It didn't even start at the beginning of the year. Just recently, my eyes were open to the importance of just doing for others, serving others, connecting people, offering as much as you can until I don't have to sell my product to anybody. I don't have to twist anybody's arms, convince anybody. They come to me and say, Mike, it's time. Let's do that.
Thank you, Mike. Go ahead, Jeff.
Awesome. And Mike, thank you. Yesterday, I was on a networking workshop or summit with Michael Whitehouse, and it is absolutely fascinating in the chat how many people were sell. And it was like, you people are in the wrong room and you don't even know it, because in the real chat, it's, oh my God, hey, I haven't seen you in a long time, or hey, sorry, I owe you an introduction. The reality is there are people in business who get relationships, and they're always going to benefit from being in a room like this. But then there's the people who want to pitch. if Janine doesn't throw him out of the room, probably one of us are going to say, please don't come back. You know, and I just want to say there was somebody once upon a time on LinkedIn that basically said when Lynette posted about Friday coffee, the person said, convince me why I should come. And my first reaction was, you just proved you don't belong
You
here.
don't belong here. If I have to convince you, it's by invitation only, meaning we invite and that's it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate you talking about what it has been around since the beginning of business, which is relationship marketing. And it's not new. There is nothing new about it. Send out cards was inspired by somebody's tragic event, but that company does so well because they cater to a basic human need, which is I want to feel special. And you help me feel special because you pay attention to me. You sent me a card and it has my name on it. And you have a picture or something on there. Okay, so I know I talk a lot about send out cards today, but that is one of the keystones, one of the pillars of my business as far as follow-up is concerned. It came from Peter Drucker and that era of high tech, high touch. Now it has come to mean something else. And so I'd like to define that. I have to define it now because back in the 80s and 90s, high tech, high touch, we saw automation coming on. We saw how barcode readers were starting to happen. We were seeing people moving through technology faster and faster. And we knew that there had to be something that would slow it down so that the relationship could start to build. And one of the ways to do that is none other than the postal service. Now, for those of you who live in countries where that's not even a thing, and I understand that, there are other ways to slow it down. You have carrier pigeons and owls. No, I just had to throw that in. Had to throw that in there. But there are other ways. Get creative with how you're going to do your follow-up and do it differently than what other people will present. And so as my person in Mexico says, that once a year he sends out packages, and I started laughing because DHL, no matter where in the world you are, so for some reason DHL will make sure your package gets there. And I've seen when I've been in certain areas of Latin America where the guy on his bike with the DHL box on the back and DHL on his helmet, and he's pedaling like crazy on this dirt road. He's delivering that package. So this isn't a sponsorship for it or anything. It's just I have personally seen where I've been in the outback of Australia or something, and I'll be like, oh my God, because I recognize the logo. There they are on their tricycle with their basket that has DHL hanging on the back, flapping with the tie wraps with the metal logo. Anyway, sorry, it was just
How's
funny.
that for some branding?
Just a little bit of branding there, right? Just enough that no matter where in the world I was, I could see that package service. So
But just
anyhow,
that's what you're pointing out, that this was anywhere you are, that they're going to get you. I mean, that's amazing.
mm-hmm, it is. And so it depends on who you want to do that with, but definitely have a system in place that if somebody buys your high ticket offer or somebody buys an offer that's over so much, make sure your profit margin is there so that you can feed back into your marketing. And the marketing is, and you hear this all the time. I know you're probably tired of hearing this as a business owner, but it is so much easier to have a client pay you a second and third time than it is to go out and get a new client. And we hear that all the time, but yet we do not build systems to take care of those clients. 67% of the people that leave a business leave you because they don't think you care. That's why they leave your business, which is breaks my heart because I know how hard I work to get them into my business, right? And that's why I use cards to help follow up with them so they know I really care about you as a person. And if you decide to leave because you're having a bad day or something, I get it. We all have bad days, but I don't want you to leave because you don't think I care. You know, I want you to leave because you think somebody else can teach you better or serve you better or what have you, right? So those are the things. Okay, we have a couple of minutes. I have an appointment that I have to get to at the top of the hour, so we're going to stop 2 minutes early. So we only have about 4 minutes left today. Anything people want to share today with what has been talked about? Go ahead, Rich.
This is to the other Janine. Was the pronunciation Shapiro? Is that as opposed to, I would look at your name and think Shapiro.
Shapiro. It's
Okay.
Shapiro.
It is,
Yes.
okay. I
Many
just,
people mispronounce it. I thought I would have an easier ride when I ditched my maiden name, and I haven't. My maiden name is spelled Bucceri and pronounced Bucceri. And I thought, well, people can pronounce Shapiro, and they can't, so it's okay. We just love everyone.
it's fine. I live in New York, so Shapiro is a very common, it's not an uncommon name, but I thought I heard a different pronunciation. That's all I wanted to know.
No, it's correct. The
Thanks.
Shapiro, yes.
Mhm. And does anybody need to put their contact information? If you haven't, please put the contact information into the chat so that we can take care of you. Any other questions or stuff before we wrap up for the weekend? Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm just going to say this party is always fun. I love Janine. I respect and admire her. It's more fun when we all bring friends. So if you have enjoyed this and you like meeting people, feel free to bring other great people, because what I like is Janine does all the work and I get to tell people, look, Janine's awesome. She likes you. You're great. So this is a fun party, but feel free to bring friends, because I do that too now. I'm inviting people saying, you want to meet with me? You got to meet with Janine and I on Friday. So I
Yes.
strongly encourage you, let Janine do all the work. We bring our friends and everybody wins. I promise.
And the reason for Open Friday Coffee was because people wanted to do so many one-to-ones with me. I was running out of time in my calendar. And so literally, you guys know, Janine and Shannon, that in order for you to meet with me, you have to come here first, and then we might do a one-to-one if it's appropriate. So feel free to use this, is what Jeff is saying, and it's totally appropriate. Feel free to say, you got to come on to this, come here, we'll talk, I'll introduce everybody. You see how I work and operate. I'm not trying to take your people. If they're supposed to do business with you, they'll do business with you. Just to let you know, I'm a part of 3 other networking groups. And one of the things that I've learned is that I always bring people through the Open Friday Coffee first, because I want them to meet my community. This is my brain trust here. There's a lot of wisdom in this room. And without it, I would not be as successful as a businesswoman as I am. So happy International Women's Day. Is there any last comments before we go?